Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trip Talks. This is the show where I interview successful e commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today I'm really excited to welcome Anthony Ciavirella. Sorry, I should have asked you for your name first. I'll repeat that. How do you pronounce that?
Ciavirella.
Ciavirella. Okay, Anthony Ciavirella. Okay, let me do that again. Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trip Talks. This is the show where I interview successful e-commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Anthony Ciavirella to the show. Anthony is the co-founder of Manmade. Manmade is a self-care brand based out of Montreal, Canada, designed by and for men that puts practicality and quality forward. And to ask Anthony a few questions about his entrepreneurial journey and some of the strategies and tactics that he has used to start and grow his business. So thank you so much for joining me today, Crypto.
Thank you for having me, Shushant. I hear a bit of a static in terms of the connection. Do you hear me well?
I hear you well, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I will let you know if I hear you. So let's get into it. Let's get right into it. Very interesting product and very glad to see a Canadian brand. I don't often come across a lot of Canadian brands doing great things. Can you share a little bit about how you got the idea for your business and what really motivated you to start Manmade?
Yes, sure. So we're four best friends. We've known each other as long as kindergarten. So we've been in each other's lives very often. We're very ambitious, and we've always been in the finance space, right? So we're all bankers, accountants, and we had two things in common as very close friends. We had an entrepreneurial itch that needed scratching and terrible underwear days. So we all had the same issue. We wanted to solve the issue of terrible underwear. We hated the bunching, the riding up. We hated the chafing between the thighs. And we just wanted to be able to make sure that men don't have to suffer like that anymore. So what we did is we went up north. We brainstormed for 3 whole days, did market research, understand the market of underwear, what's going on, what needs improvement, what are the products out there, what are the price ranges. So once we did all that research, we started to order a bunch of underwear, did the R&D, the trial, and then we came across the fabric called modal. Modal is derived from a beech tree. It's 3 times more breathable and 3 times more absorbent than cotton. Once you put the modal fabric on, it's really, really nice. It feels like a second skin. It's a 4-way stretch. Very, like I said, very breathable, very absorbent, and good for you. So we saw that the price ranges were a little bit on the more expensive side. We saw that sometimes it could be north of $36 US. We saw that we wanted to make it functional first. We wanted to make it comfort. We wanted to make it simple. So what we did was it started with one cut, one color. So we surveyed over 4,000 different customers, and we launched our black boxer brief in modal fabric 10 months after initial inception of the idea. And that was on August 30th, 2021.
And this fabric modal, which seems to be the differentiating factor, is it a natural fabric? Is it more of a synthetic fabric? Can you share a little bit about that?
So it's a synthetic fabric, but the core of the actual fabric is natural through the beech tree, right? So it has those properties where you're looking for when it comes to an actual fabric like underwear. It's in the same family as bamboo, right? It's in the same family as bamboo. Viscose is also another way of speaking about bamboo. And modal being, in my opinion, a more superior type of quality fabric, and that's why it's very hard to find it. First off, and second off, to find a good quality modal, because there is modal that is made that sometimes you'll see some pilling, or it won't have the same wear and tear that you need. And we're very happy to say that it took many months, almost a year, but we're actually there where we're very confident with the type of fabric that we use, and we love it, and customers do as well.
So it's a project created by French, and you, as you said, your life was in the finance world. Can you tell a little bit about what the plan process was like? Did you create the plan before, did all the research, and said we're all going to jump 100%? I mean, it seems a bit of a risk, for four people, maybe your stable jobs, families and everything, did you leave your jobs right away? Can you share a little bit about that process?
Yeah, I can share a little bit about that. So, like I said, we're four best friends. So for us, we always had a pulse in each other's lives. We always knew, what the next step was, or we would share the next big promotion, and if we were fulfilled or not in what we were doing. I mean, we were happy, but we weren't fulfilled at 100%, and we all knew that we had that. All four of us had that entrepreneurial itch. So what we did do is we asked our wives for permission to go up north for 3 full days to come up with a business plan, a real strategy behind what we wanted to do. And we did exactly that. So 3 full days later, we stayed in the cabin. We worked really hard to make sure that everything from concept to research, from macro to micro was thought about. And we jumped right into it, right? So we feel that we can go 4 times faster or 4 times slower, because we're 4, right? So we want to go 4 times faster. So we're super efficient. We always make sure to have everything planned out for the year, the month, the week, and even the day. Every single day we have these morning huddles where we go through what each and every one of our tasks will be and what we're going to get tackled that day. So yes, being 4, it is kind of hard on the family. We are in our late 20s, early 30s. So we have families, we have the responsibilities, but we also needed to know each and every one of our situations financially and personally. And we shared that amongst the 4 of us to make sure that we all had good credit, to make sure we had enough capital to last at least a year or 2 without taking a salary. We wanted to make sure that our wives were on board and our significant others were on board of the vision and what we're trying to do, because the investment in what we're trying to do isn't small. You need to invest in inventory. We don't do just in time or drop shipping. It's literally we buy the inventory, we design the garment ourselves. So it's very important that we're on the same page and we all have the same North Star. So yes, to answer your question, we jumped right into it, and we're all understand the risks and also the reward. At the end of the journey.
Now, you did mention a little bit that you did some sort of a service for customers and things like that. I mean, when you're investing into this business with your time and money, can you share a little bit, what was the upfront research that you did? How did you, because you went in under in business, of course, it's not a new idea, I'm sure there's no shortage of undergarments out there. How did you, when you were building this vision for this business, how did you know that there's a big enough market, if you're creating this, I'm assuming, direct to consumer brand, that it would be worth it for 4 people to give up their jobs and get into this, and there will be ROI?
For sure. The underwear, like, men all wear underwear, right? Hopefully they do, right? So it's like something that you wear. It's a garment that you wear every single day. We did not want to go in the fashion direction. And what I mean by that is that obviously our underwear is very fashionable. It's a nice underwear. It's designed really well. But we really wanted to focus on the functionality of the underwear. So yes, it's very competitive, but we like to create our own space in that competition. So what we did was we focused on functionality and we focused on simplicity. And if you look at the way our underwear is constructed, it's very simple, right? It gives you that design where it separates your package from your thighs. It keeps everything nice and supported. And once you put on the garment, you start to say to yourself, wow, it's so simple, yet it's it's exactly what men are looking for. Support, no chafing, no riding up, no rolling of the waistband, and 100% comfort. When we started, we wrote down basically all the different types of underwear. We wrote down all different types of colors, and then we were getting a little bit off track, and we told ourselves we need to stay simple and functional. So we surveyed over 4,000 North American men, and we asked them, amongst other questions, but we asked them two primary questions, which what type of underwear do you wear? Is it a boxer brief, boxer short, trunk, right? And what color do you wear? And I would say over 70% said boxer brief and over 70% said black. So for us as a startup, we said to ourselves, let's not invest in different colors and patterns and all this different SKUs. Let's really focus and own the functionality of this boxer brief, where we just have to worry about one color, one SKU, but we got to make sure that it's the best underwear on the market. And that's exactly what we did, right? So if you look at our reviews and you look at a little bit about our business, customers love our underwear because it's so simple, right? And then eventually we can come out with a different color, but we know that we're always going to keep it simple. We're always going to keep it functional, and customers know what they're going to get when they buy from us. So staying true to those values and staying true to that vision allowed us to get scale, right? And then we came out with different products like socks, low cut and crew sock. We came out with our t-shirts. We're coming out with a soap bar. We're going to come out with probably a deodorant. So a lot of people, they think, oh, they're the underwear brand. Yes, our staple product is the underwear. But for us, it's really, supporting a man's wellness by strengthening their foundation. If a man has all these good quality essentials to start their day proper, they just feel better about themselves. And there's a huge take there where men are trying to take better care of themselves, but they just don't know where to start. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of choice. There's a lot of color. There's a lot of patterns. There's a lot of gimmicks. So we want to eliminate all of that noise and just stay super functional. So if you go on our site, you'll always see it being very clean and very easy to navigate. That's the first thing. And the second thing, we don't give a million options. When our t-shirt is black and white, our socks are black and white, our boxers are black, our soap, there's only one. So we just keep it very simple and functional. And I think at that point, that's what really helps us differentiate ourselves, and has helped us really scale and really own that niche when it comes to functionality in men's garments or men's essentials.
So you never, in terms of investment, you never went the crowdfunding route, did you? Did the investment in your business really just come from all the co-founders?
Yeah. So what we did is at the beginning of it, we calculated what we needed. We're very scrappy as a brand. We all have different talents that complement each other. So like, for example, our website, we did it internally. We use a backend called BigCommerce, where it's very customizable. So, we got some external help where we needed it. We didn't just offload all of that, right? And when it came to the marketing, a lot of it is ourselves. It's all internal. So the four founders, what we did is we invested $20,000 each, and that 80,000 helped us grow we're about to hit 7 figures in revenue this year. Oh, we hit 7 figures, but we're about to, so we hit 7 figures in revenue already. It's been 10 months since our launch, and we were sold out of boxer briefs and some socks for about a month of that.
That's really awesome. Is your main market Canada, or is Canada and US?
Yeah. So for us, that's the other thing, right? When I say like functionality and simplicity, we also have that theory for growing our brand. For us, we didn't want to be scoped out where we're all international and it's so much to manage. And your US market is so much different than your Canadian market. So what we wanted to do is when we launched, we really wanted to own our city, which was Montreal. And we're really happy to say that we were able to sell out our first minimum quantity order here locally in Montreal. We ended up getting a publication that really helped us sell out, which was with the Montreal Gazette. We worked with local influencers. We did a lot of content ourselves, got the word out there, and were able to sell out close to 10,000 boxers. And then once we owned our city, then we went and we started to market ourselves across Canada. We want to really own the Canadian market first, which we feel by the end of the year, we'll have a pretty good idea of what our CAC will be and all our metrics when it comes to, we already know what our CAC is, but we're really going to have a whole year's worth of data to understand our Canadian market and then eventually get into the US next. We did, however, because of TikTok, get an influx of international traffic, and we did start shipping a few orders with our fans on TikTok, but we soon realized that the shipping and the charges and just the management of all that it took away from focus. So we stopped it and we just focused on Canada, and we're going to continue focusing on Canada till the end of 2022.
So one question that I'm very interested in is, this idea of co-founders, right? And everybody has invested similar amount of money. How do you make sure that, and I guess it helps that you have been like longtime friends, so you know each other very well. But this is always a dilemma in a co-founder relationship. And what if, your vision and your co-founder's vision diverges sometimes in the future, or you're trying to make a decision and come to an agreement or something like that. Do you have like even though you are equal, you say that the they will be yours and then everybody has to agree to it? Or how do you manage this co-founder relationship so that you're not, I'm sure there'll always be some disagreements. Someone will say, I think this is the best way, and you're thinking maybe this is the best way. How do you manage that co-founder relationship in this business?
So we complement, so I'm going to answer the question to the best of my abilities, because you cut a little bit, but I kind of know what you're asking for. Just if I'm going off topic, please stop me. But it's a very common question that I've been asked. We've been asked. We have a North Star, which is basically we know exactly where we're all headed, what we want out of the business, what our goals and aspirations are. But we believe in manifesting a lot of that, and we believe in organization a lot and planning. So every year, right, at the beginning of the year, the same way we came up with the idea of Manmade, we go up north and we rent the same cabin or try to rent around the same cabin. And we come up with our pillars: sales, marketing, technology, company culture, operations and production. So we come up with our pillars, and within those pillars, we have our overarching goals, what our sales goals are going to be, our production, our forecasting. All of those goals are all set up and put on paper. From there, we divide those goals into roles, right? So you have myself that's in PR and influencer marketing and customer service. And then you have Robert that's in product and marketing. And you have Berto that's in finance and technology. And then you have Philip that operations and logistics. So we all have those roles plus our employees. We have 3 employees, 2, 3, 4. We're at 4 employees. You have Rodrigo, who's software engineer. You have Daniel, who's he prepares our orders. We have Tatiana, who helps in customer service. And then we have Sandro, who we just recently hired also, that takes care of video and editing. So what am I trying to get at is that everybody has their roles and everybody understands what their task is for the month, right? And every month we revisit it to make sure that we're hitting our goals that we forecasted a year ago. Obviously, there's always some adjustments throughout the year that need to be done because of some uncontrollables, but the 90% stays the same throughout the whole year. So what I'm getting at is that being 4 partners, you can go 4 times quicker or 4 times slower. So for us, it's very important that we have an understanding of where we're headed and that we revisit these plans on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, and sometimes even a daily basis. What do I mean by that is twice a week we have late nights where we work on the business instead of in the business. Because during the day it's very hard, things are going on. At night we make sure twice a week we say and we have a list and we go through all the different things that we need to go through in order for us to attain our goals. Do you hear the fire alarm?
I do, yeah, a little bit.
It's not a real fire alarm. I think they're doing a test. I can continue. I apologize for the noise, but it's something that's out of my control. But is it okay if I continue?
Yeah, that's fine. It's not that bad.
So twice a week we do that. And then once a quarter, we try to go back where we lock ourselves for 2-3 days, go through the business, what we've attained in the quarter, what needs to be changed, amended. And we just constantly keep working on the North Star, which is our overarching goals. Organically, everyone has their skill sets. So organically, I'll take the reins on PR and strategic partnerships. Organically, technology and finances, Berto, who's a CPA. Organically, Phil will take the homes on operations and logistics and forecasting. And Robert, marketing and product, right? But we all know, for example, Robert has that foresight where he's just gifted to be able to understand where we're headed. So he's like acting CEO, right? So we're all co-founders, but we all lean on him for certain things. And then, Berto, we lean on him for finance and right. And then we lean on Phil for operations and logistics. And then they lean on me for customer service and for influencer marketing, strategic partnerships and PR. So it's very, very important that we communicate properly, and it's very important that we stay on the same page. But that's how it's done, right? So we always joke around in the office that we can go 4 times faster or 4 times slower, and we choose to go 4 times faster. So communication is key and clutch for this partnership.
That's great. Can you share a little bit about your manufacturing? I know you mentioned minimum order quantity at the beginning. Are you working with a North American manufacturer, or is it built in China? And it seems like you're sitting in the warehouse right now. How are you managing
so
the
I'm sitting in a warehouse right now. So this is where a lot of packing gets done. That's Daniel. He takes care of a lot of our. So all our product is in here, but we have some more product over there, and then we have a warehouse downstairs. Where we recently just got, where rent is significantly less expensive. However, so for us, we tried to get the product done in Canada, but a lot of people closed their doors on us. But that's not the only reason. At the beginning, we realized that the economics, they just don't make sense for our type of brand. In order for us to survive, we would need to charge a garment between $60 and $80 Canadian. We feel like that's a whole different market and it's a whole different strategy and brand, and we didn't want to go down that route. So the boxer brief is done in Sri Lanka in a RAP certified manufacturer. It's a world responsible, accredited production facility where employees are treated with social responsibility. And it's a very nice environment. We're very close with our manufacturer, especially in Sri Lanka, being our first product. Our socks are done in Taiwan, also a RAP certified manufacturer. We've been working with our manufacturer for over a year now. She, who's the person that we speak to, is very nice, and we get on calls with them pretty regularly. And then we have our T-shirts that are being manufactured in China. We looked all over the world for this type of Pima cotton modal, and China had it. Our Chinese manufacturer had it. They made a very beautiful T-shirt, very high resistant, and we love them. And then our soap bar is done in Vermont, not too far from us, about an hour and a half away from us by car, and it's made in the US of A.
How did you go about finding these manufacturers? Was it really through Alibaba or through contacts?
No, you mind giving me just a second?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
This is part of being an entrepreneur. You're doing a podcast and you got to pick up the phone. Hey, Daniel. I'm doing a podcast. Can you call Robert or somebody? I'll text you his number. Is it an actual fire or just the alarm? Yeah, I'm here. I'm upstairs. You're gonna see me in the room, but just drop it off on the counter. Bye. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I'm sure
Yeah, I
you
was
can edit
asking
that.
you. No, it's okay. I was asking you, how did you find your manufacturer?
Yeah, so at the beginning, obviously, like everybody does, they go on Alibaba. We didn't want to do the Alibaba route because it's hard to find a good manufacturer on Alibaba, to be honest. And we wanted to design our own product. We wanted to have a relationship with our manufacturer, and we tried and weren't successful. So we resulted to actually finding someone with a lot of experience in Toronto who has over 30 years of experience in manufacturing and working with different manufacturers. And you mind giving me 1 second?
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So yeah, we went on Alibaba and we weren't very successful. So we found a manufacturer, a sourcer that worked in the manufacturing industry for many, many years. We got on a call with him. We spoke to him about what we were trying to do and the type of product we were trying to make. And we actually paid for him to come from Toronto to Montreal. We paid his train, his hotel stay, and we just wanted to pick his brain for 2 whole days. And it was the ROI on that investment was very, very good. He was very helpful. He introduced us to over 30 different manufacturers around the world that he worked with very closely when he was in manufacturing and he was in sourcing. Like I said, he was retired, right? So he's a retiree with very good relationship. He saw we were good 4 guys, 4 nice guys who had a dream, and he just wanted to help us. And he did exactly that. He made the proper introductions to those manufacturers. We went back and forth with those manufacturers to get sampling on both on both fabric and construction of the actual garment. And after 34 different iterations, we ended up picking a manufacturer that had the best fabric and the best cut and the best cut and sew of the actual garment. And ever since then, we've been working with that manufacturer.
That's
and
awesome.
then to find the socks, we did the same thing. And then the t-shirt. Once you get into the actual garment industry, you end up just meeting different people and meeting different connections and different relationships, and then you just end up finding the right manufacturer for you. But to start from being finance guys to actually getting into the garment industry, the underwear industry, it was challenging at the beginning, and we were very blessed to find Brian. His name is Brian, who helped us out.
That's awesome. If you don't mind me asking, did you find him like through a contact, or is it like it's part of some organization that you tapped into?
LinkedIn,
Okay.
Google LinkedIn, a lot of research. And before finding him, I must have called maybe 25 different people who either told me to fuck off or to never call them again. And,
Okay.
and then I spoke to Brian, and he stayed 15 minutes, 20 minutes on the phone with me. He understood, our vision, what we wanted to do, and the rest is history.
I mean, that's interesting. So someone actually called me. I mean, usually, yes, like if you reach out to someone, I mean, people are usually helpful, and if not, then they'll say, I'm not the right person. I need to talk to someone else. But
the garment the garment industry is a very, very, very special industry.
Okay.
It's filled with different characters and different type of people that are very nice, but some of them are a little bit on the rougher side. And especially at the beginning, when you tell them that you know nothing about garments and you're finance guys trying to get into this business, they look at you like you're a complete alien. And we had to feel that, like we live in Montreal, so we have the Montreal garment industry, which right now our office is exactly in the garment industry. But when we first started, we didn't have this office, and we knocked on a lot of doors, and a lot of people, like a lot of doors, just to get information, to see if someone can give us a hand, or just to be able to find our way. And a lot of people told us that we're crazy to get into this industry, told us to leave them alone, told us that we'll never be able to succeed. It's not something that's doable, especially in this climate. And we don't forget, we started in COVID, right? So
Yeah.
so they told us that we're nuts, and I guess we proved them wrong.
So given that now we are kind of coming out of COVID, and I think that has affected a lot of e-commerce businesses because of course COVID, there was a lot of demand online, and now the demand is kind of softening for most e-commerce businesses because people can simply go to malls and stuff. How has it affected your business at all? Or
I like to answer that question by saying we don't know any better. When we started, there was the heart of COVID, so for us, we had to deal with 7-8 month lead times. We had to deal with production delays, and had to factor that into our forecasting. But we like to look at the silver lining. The silver lining is that COVID actually, there's a stat that it expedited online shopping by 40 years, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of years,
Yeah.
Especially in the older generation, right? Let's say 45 and up, 50 and up. And that helps with an online business like ours, especially knowing that our business is catering to men of all ages, but men of 35 and older are really enjoying our brand. And I would say over 50% of men between the ages of 45 and 65 are our customer. So what happens there is they got accustomed to buying online. They trust, buying online. We have a very easy online presence. We're very hands-on when it comes to customer service. So it worked in our benefit, right? I like to think that it worked in our benefit, this whole scenario. But on transport, logistics, operation, on that front, we don't know any better. And we only feel like as time goes by and things get easier, it'll just be much better for us. And getting into this business at the time that we did, it's like it's how can I give you a scenario? It's like starting something where it's at the hardest level, right? And now that you can get through that, anything else can become much easier, is what we like to think.
So right now your business is direct to consumer. Is your vision to keep it that way, or is your vision really to get your product in retail? And I guess cracking retail can be pretty challenging also. So how do you think about your business in the long term?
Yeah, good question. So we've been asked to go into retail up until like a couple of months ago. I guess with all the marketing that we put out there, all the content we put out there, we've been reached out to quite a lot. For us, it's important for us to stay focused on the North Star. The North Star is to grow our online presence. The North Star is to be direct to consumer. Our goal is to stay that way for as long as we can, and to grow the brand that way as long as we can. However, we do realize that you kind of need to be in the retail spot. You need to be in retail. You need to be where the customer is, right? So you can't just be a one-trick pony. You can, and it's obviously our cup of tea because we don't know what it entails to wholesale and to retail. We're learning. We're actually working with a pretty large retailer, Holt Renfrew, right now, who reached out to us, and they will be our only retailer this year and going into next year. We don't have any plans on getting into any other retailers, but they will be our one and only for now. For us, we want to grow, like I said, in Canada online first till the end of the year. We're actually going to be on Dragon's Den season 17 this fall of 2022, which I believe it'll it'll actually help with the brand awareness and just getting the brand out there. The millions of people are watching the show, so that'll help. And obviously continuing our marketing and continuing what we're doing and scaling and acquiring new customers, day after day, month after month. And then next year, our goal primarily is to get into the US markets. So that's where our North Star is. Retail is one of those things where right now there's no real game plan for it, because we're just going to stick with Renfrew in Canada. And then we'll, in 2023, when we revisit our overarching goals, the big macro goals, we'll look into maybe probably going into retail. But there's so many unknowns in retail, and there's so much attention that is needed when you're getting into retail, that we don't want to spread ourselves too thin and lose the focus of what our actual goal is, which is grow an online direct-to-consumer brand. So I kind of gave you the long answer.
Yeah, I mean, no, that makes sense. Can you share a little bit about your demand generation? I know you talked about customer acquisition costs and things like that, and also TikTok. Is your demand generation mostly organic, or are you doing like paid advertising also?
Yeah, no. So it's a complement of both. We believe that you kind of need like more than just paid acquisition, right, to be able to grow a brand. Where we make content on a regular basis. A lot of what we do is create our own content on all platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, right, Twitter. So we're on pretty much all the platforms today. But when we first started, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, those were our organic reaches, because naturally it made sense to do that, and we saw the ROI on organic reach for that. But yeah, it's a complement of both organic and paid acquisition. So we know that with both of them side by side, it'll help us lower our CAC, our customer acquisition cost, and just grow a healthier business.
I'm very interested in knowing about your shipping and return. I know I was just reading today that apparel category has the highest return from e-commerce, which I think is about 20% or something. Can you share like how, I know on your website you are offering free shipping over $40. So can you share, how your shipping created relationships with carriers, and how are you meeting the returns?
Yeah. So really happy to don't forget, right? So we're in garments, underwear and socks. We do have a fit and comfort guarantee. That's where we started. We just launched our t-shirts this week. So that we have a goal of having a pretty low shipping percentage. However, we're only going to know that data in a couple of weeks. But our fit is very, very unique, right? Our fit is extremely unique. Not unique, excuse me. It's extremely conventional, meaning that we have a fit where it's a little bit tighter around the shoulders and chest, a little looser around the stomach. So like I can fit in a large the same way I can fit in an extra large. It'll look different, it'll feel different, but it's not one of those t-shirts that are super tailored and designed for a specific body type. We want to be able to tailor to inclusivity on the t-shirt front. But to answer your question, our return rate is very low. We do have a fit and comfort guarantee because we stand behind our product. So when somebody purchases our product and for whatever reason it doesn't fit them right, or they don't like them because of the way they feel or fit, we do have a fit and comfort guarantee on the first open pair. So if you open it, if you buy 3 and you open 1 and you try it on, and for whatever reason doesn't fit you well, we can exchange. You send back the 2 unopened pairs, and we will send you the right size, 3 of them. So we replace the 3. You don't lose out, because we feel that the gain of a man having an underwear, a high quality underwear like ours, and liking them is far greater than the loss that will incur on the product cost and the shipping cost. Right now, our return exchange is below 4%, even less. I would say below 3%, right? So we manage it that way. So for us, conversions are better when you hit our site as a new customer and you see that we stand by our product and we have a fit and comfort guarantee. It'll only help your conversion rate. And then when we actually do the exchanges, we pay for the shipping there and back, right? We pay for the product, and we have to say that it's been working. The conversion rate increasing outweighs the returns that we need to do on the garments. So for that, it's worked out. And don't forget, we only have one color, one cut, so it's a little easier to manage also, right? And we see that once somebody does buy one or two, and for whatever reason they need to exchange and they end up liking them, we follow through with the customer. How did the new fit you? Great, perfect. We have a 7-pack available if you'd like. And I would say that the stat there is pretty high, where they actually invest in another 7 of them. So you become profitable at the end of that transaction on the lifetime value of the customer. And that's the difference between building a brand where you stand behind your product, or just, a brand where we like to call direct response, where it's a little bit more on the aggressive side in terms of marketing, and you have like a product that's white labeled, and it's just about volume and turning and burning, right? So for us, we stand behind our product. We want the 5-star review. We want a happy customer. We want a return customer, and we're very focused on that, and it's been paying off.
Last question before I move on to the rapid fire round. I know we're running out of time, so maybe you can keep it a little bit shorter. I know every entrepreneur journey, there's always mistakes made, failures, and so forth. Share like maybe one mistake or failure that comes out in your own, starting in the business. Entrepreneurs learn from it.
You cut out at the end, but basically you're asking what's one mistake that we did that if we could turn back time, we would do different?
Yeah, exactly. What did you learn from it?
Wow. That's a loaded question. One mistake. Let's see. When we started, we thought that for finance guys, what do we know about being creative, right? We thought we needed help, external help. And we went and we actually got on 30, 40 different calls with different agencies to try to find the right agency to work with us. Mm. We ended up finding a few, but there was one that, they understood what we wanted to do. They were local, they were cool. And we said, let's give them a shot. We ended up realizing that they still weren't doing what we wanted them to do, because we were we knew that being a direct-to-consumer online business, we needed to be good online, right? We needed to be us, authentic, and really have our company visuals and non-visuals and culture really expressed, where the messaging needed to be clear. And obviously with marketing today, things are much different than they were in 2012 or 2010 or in 2006. So we need to be ahead of the curve. So we started working with an agency, and it didn't work out. So we ended up pulling the business from them, which created a bit of a sour taste in their mouth, because they're like, well, we were doing what we're doing and you're not happy. And we were a bit of a complicated customer for very little money, because we're a startup. But they saw the potential in the 4 of us, so they gave us a shot. So it's a little bit like they gave us a shot, but we didn't like what we were seeing, so we pulled it from them. And we ended up doing it internally ourselves. If I can turn back time, I would just do it ourselves from the get-go, right? Not having to waste that time with that agency, waste their time, waste our time, and get to that point. But I also believe that you need to do these things in order for you to learn and to grow. And we only do what we do today because of what we learned by working with these agencies, or this one agency. So in entrepreneurship, there's going to be mistakes. I don't care who you are, how smart you are, how good you are, you're going to make a mistake, and you're going to make many of them. And as long as you learn from them and you grow from them, it'll propel you to become better and to grow a very good business. And that's it. That's the one mistake that I would say that we did, where it cost us time and a little bit of money, but today we grew much better, and we're happy that we're doing our own content.
Yeah, that definitely was a good experience. I'm going to move on to our rapid fire round, and in this round, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you have to answer them in one or very quickly. One book recommendation for entrepreneurs.
Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you feel excited about.
A local business. So you're asking me basically a business that I like?
An innovative product or idea that you like.
Yeah, so Functional Chocolate, Midday Squares. They're from Montreal. They're friends of mine.
Okay. Business or productivity tip, or a software or tool that you use to enhance productivity.
Airtable.
Airtable is a good one. Startup or business that you think is doing great things.
Midday Squares, again.
A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to or who inspires you.
That's a good one. There's a lot of them. It's a good one. I can't choose one particularly. Let's see. I'm gonna pass on that question because there's too many of them.
Okay. Final question. Best business advice you ever received or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
If you plan to fail, no, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Anthony. Those were all the questions that I had. Really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining me today, sharing your story, sharing a little bit about your business. Really, really appreciated it. And thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I'll